because I'm. Hey. We are here. We are live. Welcome. I see some old faces coming in here. We got Gary Alderson is with us. Delphine is here. Boom. It's like a weekly event. Hey, that's like a much bigger the design changed. Look at that. It's like it's giant now.
Oh yeah, they have a couple different options for that.
Oh, that's new. That's new for me. And then Frithoff. Frithoff was with us last week, and another Canadian. Look at that. We got 3 Canadians to start the launch. But Frithoff was also did an email, help at LifterLMS.com. I responded to it. Awesome. I don't know if it's an insult or not, but I think Frithoff is older than I am. And playing the Lifter LMS game. So that is awesome. Awesome to see people getting with it. Trying to think about what I could start you talking on before he says LOL, Shirley. It's not funny and stop calling me Shirley. All right. So that's from an old movie. Delphine's like, so am I. All right. So now both of you have a task this week. Go to a high school and recruit a teenager and teach them how the internet works. That's like my personal thing lately. I've been trying to find young people to share some of this expertise with. I'm in a little town in Kansas, and so I'm working desperately to try and find some younger people to share this energy with and get people to see the benefits. So we can see some people coming in. So let's put up the banner that says, you want to put all your questions and answers into the chat. Tell us who you are, where you're from. Like I said, we've already got a group of Canadians in here. So let me know if you're from Europe or Africa or Japan or whatever. That'd be great. If you have any questions, put them in chat so we've got something to talk about here. And then I'm going to go into 55% off. That is correct. 55% off with a coupon code at lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. You ever listen to Joe Rogan? When Joe Rogan does a commercial on his podcast, he'll say it's free.
No, I'm not. I'm not big on Joe Rogan.
Well, Lifter LMS has a free version too, so I guess we could say it and not get sued. I don't know. Maybe we would get sued. I don't know. Maybe he's got a trademark on it. All right. I got to bail for a moment. Can you hold down the fort for a bit?
Yeah, I can hold down the fort.
Perfect.
Let's see. So let us know in the chat anything that you want to know about Lifter LMS. We've got a bunch of people coming in from different places. Hello from South Africa. Hello. I'm an instructor at a college, trade school. Yeah, so how are y'all doing today? Drop in the chat any questions you have about Lifter LMS. We have Lifter LMS Private Areas 2.0 that came out. If you didn't see a video about that, we can show you some cool updates on private areas. And then what else is new? There was another new thing and I forgot what it was, but some new updates at Lifter. I can pull up a demo site and talk about it. I am just waking up. These calls happen at like 10 a.m. Pacific time, and so that is way before I usually wake up on the West Coast. Hi, Kurt. I'm talking about
I was up at 4:30.
Yeah, that's insane.
Well, I woke up and then I couldn't go back to sleep, so I just got up. That was it. Started doing some work. An SEO question. Oh my God, for the you go right for the hard stuff, don't you? I have hidden the lessons in XML sitemap because people would have to sign up to see them. Any more SEO tips? There's a lot of people that just don't even index any of the LMS stuff, and they just work on doing SEO on the marketing side of the site. What's your experience in that, Emily?
Oh yeah, I do like a lot of deep SEO stuff for big companies or small companies. I think I have different SEO tips depending on the scale you're at. I have like beginner SEO tips where it's like you have less than 100 customers and then 100 to 1,000, and then when you're above 1,000, because when you're above 1,000, we're going to be investing a lot in discoverability. We're going to be investing a lot in like following Google updates very closely. But if you're very interested in SEO or you just want to jump right to the top, I think the best things you can do for SEO are like very closely follow SEO updates, closely follow blogs from like Pathfinder SEO. And I know there's like a couple SEO experts who have appeared on the WP Tonic podcast who Kurt could probably tell you about, but follow these experts very closely. SEO changes so much. It's not really a set it and forget it thing anymore. And my recommendation is to create deep content. It's no longer about regular content. It's about deep content that's really like descriptive, really valuable, multimedia, videos, text, images, giving people answers. I've seen a lot of the LifterLMS documentation be transcribed by the Google AI when people are making searches. So you want to make your SEO as potent as possible to searches. I talk about SEO for so many hours on end, but one of the biggest SEO tips, I think we do this at Lifter, and you can do it yourself if we look up online courses about cooking. So whatever your course is about, if you search that on Google, Google will give you some of the best SEO tips out of the box. So if I share my screen here, we just looked up online courses about cooking. We can see kind of what the AI currently is generating now. And since this is position number 1, we want to try to get the AI to transcribe our content so we can be in position number 1. So getting into position 1, getting into the AI content now, right here, is a different ballgame. But sponsored things we'll see on top. But what I was looking for is people also ask, what is the best online cooking class? So we can use this key phrase directly in our SEO. We can create FAQs like this. We'll just copy and paste that into an FAQ and answer the question. And when we open one of these questions, some more questions will appear on the list. There were 4 of them before, and then more appeared. Our cooking class is worth it. Now, this is probably not very specific. I'm looking up cooking with peppers course. The Cooking with Peppers course. Now we're actually diving into content that we can like legitimately compete with. And when we find our people also ask, what can I make with lots of peppers? What color bell pepper is the healthiest? Questions like this would be what I would want to see answered in a sales page or FAQ for a course. So really leverage what Google gives you as far as questions to answer. And then schemas, if you like technical SEO, making sure your website schema aligns with what your product or service is. Schemas update over time, where you can like, it's basically a way in the code to determine what your website is for Google. So it knows like, are you a software product? Are you a plugin company? Are you a service company? Are you a course company? You can like make sure that your course pages and your sales pages and your website as a whole is telling Google what it is correctly. Like getting in the right category is something I see missed very frequently. Those are some few SEO tips offhand. What do you think about that, Kurt? What do you think about SEO?
I think it's a nightmare. How about that? I know that you get excited about it. I get distracted by it, if I'm going to be honest with you. So many times when I'm working with a new client, it's also a startup, right? And so when you have a conversation with a startup about SEO, it's like, well, what do you have for content to even start with? Like, do you have good content? Do you have good copy? Are you focused on a set of keywords or not? Have you considered, the niche of your industry? And in a lot of cases, the answer is no. I mean, I can't tell you how many times somebody comes to me and says, oh, we're starting a business and we need a website, because somebody told them the first thing they need is a website, when the first thing they really need is a clear picture of what their business is. The website is really just a reflection of what it is you are doing or intend to do. And so I think a lot of times people put the cart before the horse. So, at my particular agency, we really don't advertise selling, making websites. We actually advertise being business consultants first. And then we consult with people. And in many cases, a website's not the product. But of course, in other cases, the website is the product. It just, I find a lot of people aren't even ready yet. And then I think, if I'm being really honest, because I work for, I run an agency, if it's a customer that has the flow that you were talking about, Emily, I bring someone onto the team to run the SEO for me, so I don't have to be the SEO expert. I find it personally, I just find it tedious. Other people really enjoy it. I don't. I like. Do you remember? Let's go in the Wayback Machine. I consider myself somewhat of a writer. I like to write. I like to express myself in the written word. And I volunteered to write articles that Emily and I were both working on. And Emily was like, "Here, now we have to use this outline process, and then we have to do this bullet point thing. And so, what are the keywords, and what are the expressed meta phrases that go with these keywords? And then what is? And by the time we were done, and I read what I had written, I didn't even like it. I was like,
I remember that.
This doesn't sound like me. This doesn't provide the information I wanted to provide. But it met the SEO requirements, and that's where I find it. Other people really enjoy it. Like there's some people that like accounting. There's some people that like spreadsheets. I don't like that stuff. So in my position, I hire people to do it for me because I just don't want to.
Right. And then that post that you wrote ended up, it's on number 2 on Google for SCORM WordPress. So that's why we get so many SCORM questions now.
Oh yeah. Chris all the time tells me, "Hey, we're at the top." We were number 1 for SCORM for a while, and he's so proud of it. And I'm like, boy, I really hate that article.
Right. And that's like, we got into like a relatively boring technical SEO process. This is like competitor analysis. There's a lot of tools, including AI tools that you can use for competitor analysis, but one of them is a Google Chrome extension called SEO Buddy, where you can see, is my SEO Buddy, is it showing up? Can you see my
I can
SEO?
see your screen. It's not showing the drop-down menu though.
Oh, like there's a pop-up and y'all can't see that.
Yeah, it's not showing the pop-up window.
I need to share this because this is cool. I think this is a tool that the good people in chat would like. I might share an infinite screen here just so that you can see this. Share. You see all my tabs. Can you see all my tabs?
I can see all your tabs.
Okay, great.
There we go. You can see it.
SEO Buddy. This is a Chrome extension where I can see the breakdown of a competitor page. So if you want to compete with WordPress SCORM, we can see things like the page loading time, the meta description, the page title. We get access to all of this stuff. How many links do they have? What does their content consist of? We see 1H1. I always recommend heading tree structures. If you don't do heading tree structures, 1H1, that's your title. H2s and then H3s are nested under H2s and then so on. And what we do is we look at other competitor articles, look at what their headings are, write comparative headings that compare to that, and write a comparative volume of those headings. And that is like a tip for if you're really going to get in the nitty gritty of SEO. I don't recommend getting that deep unless you have somebody who is like dedicated to trying to rank for a specific keyword
and enjoys it. If they don't enjoy it, they're not going to do a great job. Speaking of SEO, like that SEO Buddy, the way that you just showed that off, that is so much more, I want to say integrated. I don't think that's the right word. Communicative. How about that? It's so much more communicative than the dashboard in Yoast. Because like you go into Yoast and it says keywords and you're like, what keywords? I don't even know what words I'm supposed to be leveraging here. Like, how do I know if it's a good word or a bad word? And then it'll say, you know, what's your meta tag, and what is your, are you going to use the excerpt? Are you going to this? Are you, you know? But what you just showed is like, hey, let's look at what somebody else did, and then emulate that. You know, it kind of gives you like it gives you the path, right? So like, you know, like there's the path in your backyard, stepping stones to get to the, I don't know, the sauna or whatever, you know, but it gives you the pathway to get there. Rather than, you know, I think with Yoast, a lot of times it's a really good tool. It keeps you on track. It's got the checklist, you know, the traffic lights, they call it. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's not a great tool. Like you can get lost in there. And if you get focused on the traffic lights and that's all you focus on, well, then you get lost in not having readability or authority on the topic.
Yes, it's very hard to go for SEO as a primary way of driving traffic to your website. For me, in my business, that was secondary. because like I would answer questions on Facebook directly with these YouTube videos, and then I would write blog posts about the YouTube videos. So both a YouTube video and a blog post would be driving people to my website for answers on Google, and that eventually did drive me clients, but it was like a year after, once I started ranking. So directly on Facebook was where I was getting clients for that first period.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a big game. It really is a big game. You gotta, I know with my particular agency, thinking of this whole thing from an agency perspective, I'm big on live videos. I'm big on social posts. I'm big on content delivery with blogs and podcast guesting. I mean, I'm spread out all over the place. And what's funny is I kept talking about Hutchinson, Kansas. So I finally asked AI, I said, who would you recommend to get a WordPress website made if you lived in Hutchinson, Kansas? Surprise, surprise, I wasn't even on the list. And I thought to myself, all this work I've been doing, and AI doesn't even know I live here yet. So then I had a conversation with AI and said, what should I do as the owner of this agency to be visible locally? And it gave me literally just a bullet list of things to do. Change my tagline in LinkedIn, change my tagline on Facebook, change my tagline on X, make this post, make that post, make the other post, make a video on YouTube, and basically gave me the strategy on how to become more easily found locally. And as much as I love having an international business that can do, enterprise level work all over the globe, there's a big part of me that really wants to add value to the community with some budget-minded product that we have. So yeah, this whole SEO, marketing, advertising, sales funnel talk, it's a never-ending discussion. Speaking of which, I'm going to a Chamber of Commerce after hours tonight.
Never-ending discussion.
Yeah. So we do have some pre-submitted questions. So we've got some content here, Emily. We're not empty. Rebecca wants to know, how do people determine the cost of a course? Do you have dice? Roll that dice. What kind of input do you have for that?
Determine the cost of a course. Well, I know on LifterLMS.com we have a pricing calculator that'll tell you to charge $10,000 for your course. But I think it really, breaking it down into a few factors of like, you're charging for a course, you're charging for community, and you're charging for direct access to you. So like coaching. And if you're just starting out, you probably don't have a community built up already. Unless you have a community already built on like Facebook or something and you're bringing it over to WordPress. So charging for community isn't really something we can do right out of the gate. So what we're looking for is charging for the content, charging for the results the content bring for the student, and then charging for the direct access to your time. So I would recommend having a rate for your time that is maybe double it. So it's an expensive rate for your time so people can get access to you one-on-one to coach them through this content. And then you have a course rate, which is lower than that. And you probably want to charge something relative to what people would pay to solve this problem in the industry. How much time are they going to spend solving this problem without your course? How much time are they going to save by doing it with you? How much effort and energy are they going to have in their life? I would first think about it as how much time are they going to save and how much money is that time worth? Just out of the gate.
I'm big on that. There's so many misleading pieces of social media out there that try and be the gurus in this area. And we get to see a lot of course creators struggle through the ups and downs of this thing. I believe you need to have some kind of proof of concept. I believe you need to have a handful of people go through your site as students first, whether you give it to them for $10 or you put them in for free or whatever your use case is, and then take their feedback, get feedback from them and find out, hey, what is the implied value of this course to those people? And then it gives you a much better idea of, okay, so what's the threshold? What would people be willing to pay? And then how do I communicate that value to people? I'm a big believer in the 10x strategy, meaning that if I'm going to charge somebody for a course, the results of that course should be able to make them 10 times that investment. So I have a course that teaches people how to improve their service business for motorcycle dealerships. A lot of the dealers that take our course and the coaching and all the stuff that goes with it are going to create an extra $600,000 to $800,000 a year in revenue for their dealership. So then you have to say, okay, well, what would be 10% of $600,000? Well, that's $60,000, right? And so for about $44,000, we offer dealerships this training. You would say, wow, $44,000 for a course. That sounds crazy. No one's going to pay that. And I'm here to tell you that people do pay it. But it's not in high volume. It's not meant to be high volume. It's meant to be high touch. And so that premium price tag comes at a high touch premium price, premium service. They can get access to that same courseware for $800, right? Learn yourself, train yourself, no coaching, no group calls, no nothing, just access to the course, $800. So what Emily was describing is 100% true. There's different tiers of pricing you can look at for your course, and you kind of have to figure out, like, what's your pain point? What do you solve? What's the implied value of that solution? And then how would you, so if it's a 10x experience, then you could charge 10% of what that implied value is. So if you're going to show someone how to make $1,000 doing something, in theory, the cost of your course would be $99. Kind of the way that I kind of do some quick math. It's not always right. It's a lot easier to have a high price and offer a coupon or a discount than it is to start with a low price and triple your prices in 6 months.
True.
Of course, I say that, and you can raise your price whenever you want. Doesn't really matter. I don't know. I'm all over the place now. I feel like I've lost my mind. I've lost the plot now, Emily. Now I'm contradicting myself. So let's see here. We've got we've got a big one. I don't even know if I want to do that's. Oh, do I even want to put it on screen? It's not even going to fit on the screen. Look at this. Nick takes up the whole screen, and this is just phase one of his question. So from Nick, he's got 4 questions here, right? So, and I'll just read it off and then I'll take it off the screen. So far, if I can raise them to assist my setup efforts, I don't even know what that means. Question 1, can you display a course outline that is just the higher level section headings, i.e. versus every lesson? Yeah, you could build whatever you want on a sales page, but you're probably looking for something that's automated. So anyway, best way to display summary versus detailed course outline content in course catalog to previewing unregistered users versus registered paid subscribers. Separate pages or hidden section blocks on the same page. Nick, there's a couple of things, and again, I'll just finish this and get this off the screen so we can get back to seeing Emily here. Question 3, using SkyPilot theme, can you change the course page columns layout easily, like the Launchpad theme? I find that an interesting way to ask that question. Let's get to the brass tacks of things. Can I display a course outline? Yes. You can. First off, it's WordPress. You can create any page you want, and you can display content in any way that you want. Like if you know custom CSS, or if you want to just create using blocks, a static outline, absolutely, you can do whatever you want. There is a LifterLMS outline block, and that can be expandable or contractible as well. So what I do with a lot of my clients that have, especially ones, I have a client that has like 94 lessons in one standalone course. They have a website that sells one course, just one course, but it's got 90 something lessons in it. So instead of using the normal syllabus layout, we use the course outline, which is contractible. So when the page first loads, you just see, the course, and I think the first 3 or something like that lessons, and then you can expand each. Are you just moving us around on the screen?
No, I swapped my browser.
Oh, okay, because I went from left to right and right to left, and now I'm back on the right again. I didn't know we were going to square dance today. I would have wore my hat if we were square dancing. Lucy dough. So yeah, I just use the outline block, and you're going to say, well, can we do just sections instead of lessons? It's a collapsible outline, so you could display it that way, and then even better, give the user the control of expanding the outline to see the detail. I think it's a really great tool. SkyPilot theme. Can you change the course page columns layout easily? And then you compared it to Launchpad. Well, Launchpad is kind of an old theme. It's our theme. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bad mouthing it. I'm not throwing it in the trash. Nothing crazy like that. But it's an old theme. SkyPilot is based on full site editing. It's the newest version of editing that comes in WordPress core. It's like the 2025 theme that you get from WordPress when you put in a new WordPress installation. And so you get the site editor, the template editor, all of that. And so I would actually say that SkyPilot is more intuitive in creating custom lesson and course templates based on number of columns or sections or patterns, or whatever you want to call it in the editing space. And of course, I'm completely open to Emily second guessing me on that one, because I think Emily's a little better at design than I am. But I find SkyPilot to be pretty easy at changing the format in without having to rely on CSS per se. The last part of this, because we get to question 4 here, is there a way in LifterLMS for students to pre-register their details without being billed for a course in the catalog to express interest to be notified ahead of future launch? Or is this via an external CRM email only? Well, Nick, it depends on how much friction and how much confusion you want to give your students. We have the ability out of the box in LifterLMS, from the free version all the way up to infinity, you can pre-sell a course. So if the course isn't done yet, but you know the title of the course or how many sections are in it, you can build the structure to the course even without the content. And you could say it's available for registration, but not ready to be consumed. And then you can pre-sell that course. What a great way to go. Like, to me, that's in the course creation world, that's probably one of the best options out there. The other thing you could do is you literally could start a membership inside your website and call it the waitlist membership, no credit card needed or whatever, and let people sign up into this free membership. And then you have all these people in a free membership that you could message with engagements or through a CRM tool that would say, hey, our course is in the process, and you can email them or whatever when the course is available. You could do that. I just think it adds an extra degree of friction both for you and for the client. I think it would be easier just to pre-sell the course and have them in it and generate revenue for yourself. What a way to create stability. What are your thoughts on that, Emma? I might sound harsh. I don't mean to sound harsh. I was on a different show before this, and I don't know what I think it's the new coffee. I got new coffee, and I was a little spicy on the earlier show today. I just, for some reason, my mouth opened, things came out.
No problem. I think the question 4 about can we pre-register people without being billed, I really like a CRM example. I feel like if we're getting this in-depth into it, CRM is definitely something we want to consider. So even if you're not sending emails and you just want to generate an interest list, you can use Groundhog or Fluent CRM in the back end of your WordPress website to have like a form on the course pages. So people will click into the course is not available yet, but it has some killer sales page content. And then the call to action, instead of buy the course or sign up for updates or something like that, is an opt-in that says, this isn't live yet, we will tell you when it is. And then they fill out their email and name, they get a tag in your CRM, so then that they're interested in that course. And then when you make it live, you can email all those people and tell them that it's live. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I'm a big CRM fan. Wow. Out of the last 10 websites I've built, like 8 of them have had Fluent CRM in them.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's it is a powerful enough tool that it's included in almost every corporate, business oriented website that I build now. So should we jump on to another question? Do you think we tackled Nick's questions?
I think we did.
Do you want to add anything about the Sky Pilot columns? Because I think you just go into Sky Pilot, the body area, and put in the blocks for columns, and you're done.
Yeah. SkyPilot reimagines how columns work, and it's not exclusively SkyPilot. This is like how WordPress full site editing works, and SkyPilot is built on top of that full site editing framework. And so themes in the future will be using this. Sidebars are just like 25% of the page on the right, 25% of the page on the left, or 30% here, 30% there. And sidebars are now breaking down as a concept. Like, we don't need to call it a sidebar. All we need to do is have a layout. That layout has a 66% column in the middle and a 33% column on the right. And this is the information we have in the column on the right. SkyPilot's one of those things where if you're new to full site editing, you're going to want to sit down and watch like a 1 hour tutorial on our LifterLMS channel about how to use it. And then you'll have your mind wrapped around exactly how this works. For me, full site editing is one of those things that you can really only understand if you really sit with it and play with it for a while. But once you get it, you can build any layouts you want. You can apply them to individual lessons, individual courses, but you could also apply them to all of your courses or all of the courses in a category or something like that. You can really customize your layouts to a very finite degree. Full site editing is cool.
It's cool.
It's cool.
Oh, I've been playing with all kinds of stuff lately, and to be honest, I'm getting old. I've played with so much stuff that I've confused myself over the last few months. But I've worked with bricks, etch. I started playing with the etch thing. Elementor had a reimagining of how the internet works, so I started looking at the latest release of Elementor. And then I had a customer that's still on full site editing, and I've got a grip of customers in the Cadence theme with Cadence Pro and Cadence blocks and all that. So yeah, I've been. Here's the thing that I think is so interesting. So Emily, if you work in bricks or Cadence or full site editing, it's literally gotten to, and tell me I'm wrong if you want. But like, I open up I click edit page, click on what I want to change, and I change it. Like, it just seems like everything's so much more straightforward than it was a decade ago. Like, it's gotten more layered and more confusing to people on the surface, I think. But when it comes time to like actually maintain something for a client, to like, oh, I need to change the heading on the services page, or I need to change the hero image on the contact page. Like, I just sign in, click edit page, and then click on what I want to change and change it. Like, it just seems to be a straightforward process now that maybe seemed a little more convoluted in the past. What do you feel like that too?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think full site editing exposes all of the things directly that you want to be editing. If you want to edit the page title, if you want to edit the width of your columns, you might need to go into the full site editor, but it's all in Gutenberg blocks or WordPress blocks. And so if you can get around all of the cryptic symbology of the WordPress block editor and what all the little icons mean, you can really customize an entire website now. You can down to like really detailed specifications. And even just 5 years ago, if you wanted to do that, you needed to use Elementor, you needed to use Beaver Builder or Divi. But nowadays, that ability is available in WordPress out of the box and in full site editing. And so the cool thing about it is that we'll really start to see in like 3 to 5 years is when people are migrating from one full site editing theme to another full site editing theme. So if you migrate off SkyPilot in 5 or 10 years to another theme, the migration is going to be so much easier. And that's really cool because you're not changing all your layouts. You're not removing all of your layouts and stuff. You're just changing like some font families and colors and all that kind of stuff. But your blocks will all stay the same. It's really cool. You're not like rebuilding the website every 5 or 10 years anymore.
Yeah, it's nice. And don't worry, we got a question coming up about rebuilding websites.
Oh.
But jump in with this one from Robert first. It says, what method is best to present my courses? PowerPoint with audio? ? I do like the method on LMS Lifter, but I just don't want to. Just don't want to spend the time getting started, I guess is what he meant to say, right? I do like the method on LifterLMS, but just don't want to get some time getting started. Robert, I literally just did a project that has, and I don't want to divulge everything, right? Because it's a client, but they have 45 courses on their website. And they're all broken into different categories and all that kind of stuff. And what they did was they took the PowerPoint with audio and they simply exported each of those as an MP4. So you basically take the PowerPoint with audio and export it as a video. And then you can host that video through like bunny.net and Presto Player, like what we talked about. We talked about that last week, I think, right? Yeah. So that to me is a really great way to go. Because you can host that on YouTube, on bunny.net, on Vimeo. You can embed that inside your course, and you could make the standard PowerPoint downloadable. Like if you wanted to, you could say, for the original PowerPoint, click here, and have them click a button, and they can download the PowerPoint and have the base document, as it were. So especially if you have like instructor's notes and things like that you want to share inside the PowerPoint, that's definitely something to consider. If you wanted to do the PowerPoint and you wanted to embed that PowerPoint, there is a tool called Embed Any Document. And you could use Embed Any Document, which is a free plugin on the WordPress repository. And then you could put that PowerPoint directly in the page, and you could play it that way if you chose to go that route. I'm a big fan of video, and maybe I'm partial, maybe for some reason, maybe because I do these every week. But when I make video, it's so much quicker than like writing a blog post or writing a course, or I can simply make an outline, record myself on video. Each video becomes a lesson, slap it into the LMS, and I can transcribe the videos if I wanted to have printed content. And so I'm a big fan of video, but if you're already working with PowerPoints, there's multiple ways to use them. Like I said, convert them to video and embed the video, or use that tool, Embed Any Document, and put them directly into the page. Or again, you could put textual content in. You could use AI or something to expand the content of the PowerPoint and use that as the lesson content, and then still have the PowerPoint as a downloadable feature or resource to go with the lesson. Emily, thoughts? What would you do if you were a creator with a ton of audio and PowerPoint? Emily's like, I'd burn the boats and start over.
That's right. I would rethink my life. But no, if those are interesting formats. I would convert the PowerPoints into ebooks, even if they're like horizontal, getting them into like I feel like if we start an online course and we tell people that we have PowerPoints and audios, it's just not a great marketing thing. It's like not a great experience. But if we tell people that we've got like ebook resources, and if we tell people that we have like mini podcasts or something like that, if we tell people that we've got like audio guides or I like the term podcast, if we could somehow convert this into like a podcast terminology and ebook terminology, or my girlfriend just locked me out of the house. She didn't notice. I hear the lock when she goes inside. I hear it click, and I'm like, it is out of habit, but like I'm looking at you. But I think if we could somehow remarket these resources as something that's more like more modern, this is a good time for ChatGPT. Let me pull up my ChatGPT, because I feel like we could get something really valuable for them here. I'm going to allow to use my system settings, share this window, share my window. So in my GPT, I'm going to say I have PDF and PowerPoint resources, or no, I have audio and PowerPoint resources. I want to give them a sexier name. I'm thinking about ebooks and podcasts. Can you give me 10 alternative names for these resources to capture attention? Something like this. And let's
Workshop,
see.
resources, shows, power plays.
Power plays. See, like, there we go. Now we have like a better name for what this is. Power plays.
Visit the vault and see what we have for you in lesson 3.
Right? That's such a better way to phrase it than we got PowerPoints and audios, not slides.
Click on the drop.
The drop. Yeah, see, I like that. The vault, the drop, and then you've got, what do you think about that, Kurt?
I'm in 100%. The crazy AI kids. All right, let's change topics here. We've got one from Learn AI Now. Sometimes when we click on auto enroll for new courses in a membership, it may take up to an hour to show up, or we may have to click it 3 or 4 times. There is no cache. Is this common? The first thing I want to say is, even though there's no site cache, there almost guaranteed is server-side cache. Almost guaranteed, depending on who your host is and how wonderful they are. But most hosts cache on the server side, and it can affect things. But I was going to start talking about cron. Do you think this is a cron kind of thing?
Yes, cron, 100%.
Because it's going to be with the event scheduler in your website. So there's a thing under tools called the event scheduler, and the event scheduler will have a list of things like this has been delayed, or this has been executed, or this has failed. And the WordPress cron that comes with your WordPress installation is notably junk. I don't know a better way to say that. When I first started working with CRM tools, that was the first that I really had to worry about cron, for example. So I remember I had installed Groundhog, and then my messages, like let's say I had a email message that was supposed to go out, like a mass campaign was supposed to go out to 1,000 people at 9 o'clock in the morning, and at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I signed into my website, and it's like, campaign is pending. And it's like, what do you mean the campaign's pending? It was supposed to go at 9 o'clock. And then it would say, your action scheduler had failed, and you could run it manually or just face the fact that it failed. And so you would run it manually. I had a client that this happened to shortly after that, same thing. And I was like, all right, well, now I got to figure out what this is. And it was cron. So CRON. Cron is the tool that basically keeps the stopwatch on your website. And there's free cron services. There's also paid cron services. And so like with my Fluent CRM setups, I'll set up an external cron job at cronjob.org, and then connect cronjob.org to the website, to the SMTP tool, and then it'll process like once a minute. So once a minute, the external cron job checks to see if there's a job waiting on the website. If there is, it executes, and bada boom, bada bing, it's done. I'm sure there's some technical aspects to that. I'm sure there's some really great information that some genius that knows a lot about SEO might want to share with you about that. But all I know is that I can make it work. I go to cronjob.org. I start the cron job. I connect it to the site. Bada boom, bada bing. Bob's your uncle. It's all swings and roundabouts, and yeah, it just works.
And you know who Learn AI Now is from our community?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Chris.
That's Chris.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll see him in an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah. The auto membership auto enrollment relies on cron though. So yeah, you have to do that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a cron job. And even with the external cron job, if there's a conflict in your timings, in your setups, I know that you can still have issues. Like we just had where it was taking like 2 hours to process, but they didn't have the proper cron setting in the site aligned with the external cron job. And so just, you got to read the directions. You know, I hate to be so blunt, but you just got to read the directions, follow each and every step. And even though you might have the choice of saying, well, do I want to check every minute or every 5 minutes or every 15 minutes or once every 30 minutes? Just pick the 1 minute. Just pick the 1 minute, and then bada boom, bada bing, Bob's your uncle. You'll be good to go. All right. Now let's get to KDDS. I don't know what KDDS is, but they say hello. They also say thank you for this opportunity. And then they say, can I use LifterLMS for my WordPress standard display web? I am confused. I know that LifterLMS works on a tablet, works on a monitor, works on a phone, works on a, I don't know about, maybe someone's got one of those Pi devices. I don't know if it works on a Pi device. But yeah, I use Lifter. I have seen people use LifterLMS on like the smart screen in a classroom, on a projector, on a laptop, on a 50-inch monitor. Anywhere that a website displays, LifterLMS is going to display, and it's responsive. It fits different screens and different sizes. So I got to say, I'm a little confused at the next one, KD. When I asked the developer, he said, you can't, but we have to rebuild the website. I'm lost. So I'm not sure I know what a standard display web is. Do you want to use AI and ask what a standard display web is? You're like, no.
I don't know. Not even AI can crack this one. I think maybe it's referring to like WordPress.com packages. I don't know. Like LifterLMS can be used on a business level of WordPress.com. LifterLMS can be used on any WordPress.org install. So that would be the free open source product installed on Bluehost, SiteGround, WP Engine, Kinsta, WP Tonic.
Yeah, any WordPress installation that I'm aware of, LifterLMS is compatible. Now, I've seen people that are like, hey, I have Shopify and WordPress doesn't work there. But it's like, well, that's because that doesn't work there. But it turns out that KD is right with us. KD says, I am too, bro. That's what my developer is saying to me. Okay, and yes, she is right. She is right. So I'm assuming that would be you, Emily, that you are right.
Oh, on WordPress.com?
Yeah, WordPress.com maybe.
Yeah. You just need to be on that business level, which is the one that allows you to use plugins, and that's like the $10 a month or something package. And it looks a little bit different. And we don't test for WordPress.com installs. We don't have a WordPress.com install where we're testing our updates, but WordPress themselves say that any plugin works on our business plan. So as long as you're on that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think so. Maybe that's what standard. Maybe standard is like the free WordPress, because you could be like, kurt.wordpress.com for free.
Right.
But then you can't put CRUD in it.
Right.
I think you could probably still use Opt-in Monster, though. It seems like Opt-in Monster can be on anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm being facetious. Forgive me, Opt-in Monster gods. All right. KD says, okay, great. Join us in VR has a question. All right. Slap in your question. VR freaks me out. My son's got one of those Oculus things, and I'm not into gaming at all. I did go into I went into a concert with the goggles on, and I know that you have one of those Oculus things too, Emily. Do you still have that thing?
I do.
It was weird because I felt like I was actually at the concert. Like I was like, wow, these people are standing right next to me. And then I was like, man, that lady stinks. But Yeah, no, it was and then I did another one where you could go mountain climbing and into a lodge and have pancakes. And that
Wow.
was cool. You were like at the top of a snowdrift mountain. So VR is kind of a cool thing. Here we go. We have the paid lowest level of Lifter LMS and love it. Well, that's great. That's awesome. And then it says we had it installed on a staging site and we are now building a new staging site. How do we switch, which is not the staging site? It has a warning. Yeah, so the warning typically is going to say something like recurring billing is disabled or something like that, right? Because with Lifter LMS, you could have someone on a subscription and you'd be like recurring billing them. And so if that was active on your staging website, so if you had a production website and a staging website, and both of those sites were active, you'd be double charging, double dipping all your customers, and then sooner or later you wouldn't have any customers. So yeah, if you're in staging, it deactivates everything unless you go into the notification and you click activate or permit the recurring billing. Sorry, for some reason my head just went blank there for a moment. So if you're going to take a staging site and make it a production site, it's really going to be based on what your host tells you the process is. So some hosts, it's literally the click of a button where you say, make this my production site, right? So you're going to have like a production site and a staging site. And then when you want to make your staging site production, you just click that button and off it goes. And then it's published. And then what you would do is you would sign into the back end, the admin side of the website. And if that notification's still there that says, staging, this is, recurring billing's been deactivated. Do you want to activate the recurring billing? Just click yes. And then boom, you're good to go. Bob's your uncle on that one too.
Yeah, and I could show a demo of that if you want to see the sometimes it can be a little bit hard if you've never done this before.
Staging gets interesting when you have an established website with lots of users and you're trying to update, change, modify, whatever your website. Because remember, while a website is in staging, things that are occurring in the production site aren't being logged on the staging site. So if the production site is live and you're building a staging site in the background, it started out as a copy of the site, right, with the users and all that stuff. But like when Emma Sue buys herself a new course, Emma Sue doesn't have that course in the staging site, only in the production site. And so you end up juggling a little bit of database migration and stuff like that when you try to go live, if you're trying to keep all of the transactions and records up to date. Sorry, I got crazy. Yep, there's the warning. It looks like you may have installed LifterLMS on a staging site. LifterLMS watches for potential signs of a staging site and disables automatic payments and gives two choices. Leave automatic payments disabled and enable automatic payments. So when you enable automatic payments, that is going to activate payments for the site and basically treat that staging site as a live site. So if customers are registered within that site and on a production site, they would have the possibility of being billed twice. Reset automatic payment status. You're muted. I thought I was being polite and not talking over you, but you're not talking.
Oh no, yes, I am available now. Reset automatic payment status. It's LifterLMS status tools and utilities. Click this button. That notification will come up, and then leave payments disabled for staging websites, or leave them or re-enable automatic payments for live sites. It does something else too, because you're on the lowest tier of LifterLMS. You can have one staging website with your license, and one live site with your license. So you can have one website receiving updates in staging mode and one website receiving updates in non-staging mode. So that's good to be aware of.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll. All right. Emily, do me a favor and make sure I didn't miss anything that we need to cover. I tried to make sure that we went through the whole list here, but we're coming up on the last few minutes, and I don't want to leave anybody hanging. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and say question and answers were supposed to be in the chat. I'm going to say that if you want to try LifterLMS, we have the free core plugin at lifterlms.com/try/try is a free version of LifterLMS for you to play with and do whatever you want with. If you like what you hear and you think, wow, I sure would like to book some time with Emily, you can find Emily at Hire an Expert, lifterlms.com/experts, lifterlms.com/experts. Just for reference, we mentioned the AI comment that was in here earlier. That's Chris Lassiter. He's also an expert. I'm an expert. We've got a really great selection of skilled, vetted professionals listed on the experts page. So if you want assistance or need assistance, lifterlms.com/experts for that. And then last but not least, 55% off coupon by going to lifterlms.com/AMA-gift, lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. And with all those notifications out of the way, did you see anything that I missed in comments?
Nope. We're good.
All right. Perfect. Folks, I got to tell you, it is such a pleasure to come and do this every week. And, without your participation, support, adding questions, we wouldn't have anything to talk about, which sometimes is a good thing. Anyway, we will see you next week and same time, same channel. Bye.